Thank you very much, David, for that introduction. And this is a great honour to be here today because this is the first time I'm giving an address to the National Press Club after 30 years in public life. And I really appreciate this invitation, and I appreciate the opportunity to have a conversation here and talk about why we're in the No campaign against the constitutional amendments. Even though we are in the Situation Room where they seem to herd all us Nova people, but that's all right. Thank you. Next month's referendum is one of the most important in Australia's history. Australians will have a choice of what kind of nation we want to be. Do we want Australia to be a liberal democracy where all people are equal, where all Australians can reconcile and moving ahead united as a country? Or do we want to be a country where people are divided by race, permanently in conflict with each other over facts of history that cannot be altered? The second pathway is the agenda of the Uluru Statement authors. This referendum also presents choices for Indigenous Australians. Do we want our traditional nations, our mobs, made into one harmonious group? Or do we want to be segregated again as a race of people in the Constitution? Do we want traditional owner rights usurped? Do we want to cede the fundamental principles of our cultures that no one speaks for any other people's country? Because that's what the referendum and this Uluru Statement is all about. This month, I had a 4-part series of articles leading up to the referendum day on the 14th of October in the Daily Telegraph, written with Dr. Vicky Greaves-Williams on the Uluru Statement. Both the 439 words on the canvas and the 26-page manifesto that sets out their agenda. What we describe as a symbolic declaration of war against modern Australia. The canvas is a glossy marketing brochure for the misappropriation of culture, a misrepresentation of history, and for a radical and divisive vision of Australia. All done in the name of Indigenous Australians, but working against us. Nearly a decade ago, I gave a speech on Australia Day about reconciliation. I spoke about the difficulties people have moving on from historical grievances and how I thought that could be overcome. The ABC brought this speech into focus again recently, trying to frame it as a fracture in the No campaign. I should thank the ABC for giving it renewed attention, because my speech highlighted a lingering cloud that shadows the choices we face. The theme of the speech comes from my Catholic faith. Reconciliation is about absolution, from past sins, and it has 2 parts: sorry and forgiveness. I said, in this country we talk a lot about sorry, but we never talk about the forgiveness part. I said it's not enough that Australia says sorry. Indigenous people also need to forgive Australia as a nation. Many Aboriginals feel angry about past wrongdoings, but these events cannot be undone. So as Aboriginals, we have a choice. to continue to feel aggrieved or to draw a line in history and not be captive to that past. Always remember, never forget the history, learn from it, but move forward. The Uluru Statement couldn't be further from the idea of reconciliation. The full manifesto is steeped in grievance. It sees Indigenous Australians as trapped in victimhood and oppression, not free or able to make their own decisions. Self-determination is an unrealised aspiration. This is a lie. It includes a self-proclaimed history of Indigenous Australia called Our Story, written to shame Australians about their non-Indigenous ancestors and Australia's founding. No nation has had a perfect beginning. Most have had bloody and brutal beginnings, founded in invasion, conquest, revolution or war. I don't judge a nation by the worst of its history, but by how it seeks to become its better self.